Hello and welcome to Study Writing in ESL. I'm Sajivani Priyangika Vendiku. Topic 5. Guidelines for Writing Paragraphs. Learning Outcomes. Teach the specific features of paragraph and essays. Discern the different attributes of each genre type. Teach organization and writing perfect essays. Devise paragraph frames for each genre. Write an argumentative essay based on the topics given. Introduction. This topic provides some guidelines in writing paragraph and essays. It further discusses the characteristics of a well-written paragraph, such as coherence, unity, topic sentence, concluding sentence, controlling ideas, and supporting details. Furthermore, it furnishes some procedures on writing essays: narrative, compare and contrast, descriptive, process analysis, cause and effect, classification, explanation, and argumentative. Each genre is accomplished by its respective paragraph frame. And finally, how to organize an essay perfectly. Characteristics of the paragraph. All good paragraphs have the characteristics of unity and coherence. Although paragraphs can be different in shape, style, length, and the complexity. Unity. A writer must ensure two things in order to achieve paragraph unity. First of all, the paragraph must have a single generalization which serves as the focus of attention, that it is moves towards the main point of the topic sentence without distraction. Secondly, a writer must also control the content of every other sentence in the paragraph's body. This includes more specific information than the topic sentence, and it maintains the same focus of attention as the topic sentence. Coherence. You can find coherence in a well-written paragraph. Its sentences are clear, logical, and grammatically correct. The sentence must also be arranged in order to ensure that the reader can easily understand the flow of thoughts and the association among them. Transitional words or phrases which can help give more meaning to sentences, such as to add something. You can get these words to show a contrast. You can use these words to give an example. For example, for instance, thus, in particular, in other words, to compare or show another similarity. Similarly, in the same way, in some ways, in fashion, in an entirely different way, to show time sequence, then, next, first, second, later, finally. Likewise, you can read this. To emphasize, in fact, indeed, to repeat, as previously stated, in other words, to show relationship, above, beyond, below, near, next to, here, there, to the left, to the right, behind, in front of, next, in line, far. To acknowledge a point of doubt that may be opposite to the one you are making, you can use these words when you want to summarize. Finally, in conclusion, in summary, consequently, thus, therefore, as a result, on the whole, to conclude, upon reflection. The point paragraph outline. The point paragraph outline, PPO, is an organizational strategy that provides a frame for the ideas the writer wants to convey. There are two purposes for the PPO. Firstly, the outline will make the focus and evidence of the paragraph more specific and clear for the writer. Hence, it is easier to determine whether or not the support for the paragraph is relevant and adequate. Secondly, organizing paragraph using the PPO make it easier for the reader to comprehend. The following is the PPO basic form. Topic sentence, general. A.1, about the topic sentence, more specific. Number 1, specific detail that explain. Number 2, describe and or support point 1. B.2, about the topic sentence, specific details about point 2, specific details about point 2. C.3, about the topic sentence, specific details about point 3, specific details about point 3. Concluding sentence, general. Step process for planning a PPO. Number 1, choose a topic. Then you use pre-writing technique, brainstorming, clustering, mind mapping to generate ideas about the topic. Number 3, construct a possible topic sentence with controlling ideas. Number 4, being constructing the PPO, think of 2 to 4 points you want to make about topic sentence. For each of the point, use 2 or more specific details that explain, describe, and support that point. Modify the topic sentence, if necessary, to fit the specific detail. Number 6, write a concluding sentence that summarizes, offer a solution, makes a recommendation, or makes a prediction based on the information in the paragraph. Organizing your essay from beginning to the end. All essays have 3 parts. Beginning is the introduction, middle is the body, end is the conclusion. The beginning, called the introduction, consists of an opening paragraph and includes the thesis statement. The body, or middle of the essay, includes paragraphs that support and prove the thesis. The conclusion or end consists of a final paragraph that brings the essay to a close. The introduction. This section has 3 parts. Opening sentence to attract readers, transition to set the stages for the thesis, thesis statement, a single sentence that sums up the essay. Opening sentences. The opening sentences attract the reader. The following are some techniques to help you attract your readers. Begin with the quotation or catching saying. Describe the personal experience. Ask a question. Give a starting fact or statistic. Transition sentences. The transition sentence ties your introduction to the thesis statement. It is optional. You can either use it or ignore it. In your own opening paragraphs, your common sense and reasoning will tell you whether you need a transition. If the opening sentence seems to flow naturally into the thesis statement, you need no transition. However, if the opening sentence seems to infuse in the sense thesis statement, use a transition sentence. The body. Generally, the body comprises of about 3 to 4 paragraphs. Each paragraph will discuss on one topic sentence. Here are listed the supporting details and evidence that support the topic sentence. Transitions words are utilized to inject unity and coherence in the paragraph. Or the topic sentence in from each paragraph support the thesis statement as mentioned in the introductory paragraph. The conclusion. This part of an essay summarizes the ideas mentioned and concludes the essay. Sometimes the writer's point of view or suggestions for further reading are included. Narrative essays. A narrative writing relates a series of events. When you were a child, you probably swapped many stories with your friends, recalled an interesting holiday, an unusual experience, or just related to the movies you had seen on television or what you had read in the newspapers. Planning and drafting the narrative writing. Generally, the narrative writing we write from classroom composition use the first person, if one writes about one's personal experience. However, if we write about someone else, we use third person. In order to start writing, firstly, we do some brainstorming session. The following are guidelines, questions that we can ask ourselves when we start to write. Questions. What am I going to write? My personal experience or someone else? Did I learn anything from this experience? For example, moral message. Were there any other characters involved? What interesting events should be highlighted? Did the event play a significant role in my future life? Was there a conflict? How did it evolve? How was it resolved? What other events were also significant? Should I include some dialogues? What are their functions? Are they relevant and necessary? Writing in the supporting details. Stories must have details to support it. These details will answer all the questions asked. The story will be more interesting and complete. Details can make the reader feel as if it is real. Compare and contrast writing. A comparison essay usually discusses the similarity between two things, while the contrast essay discusses the differences. Planning and drafting the comparison. In order to write clearly, it is important to select appropriate organization pattern to cater for the details that need to be compared. Think of these questions before you write. What is the purpose of comparison? Who are the audience and why do they read the essay? What points of similarity or difference will I discuss? Transition words. Using transitional phrases improves the coherence of your paragraph and makes the contrast stand out. To show contrast, different apparent contractions, you can read all these words, such as yet, while, instead, although, in contrast. On the other hand, unlike, still, rather, whereas, otherwise, even though, on the contrary, despite, however, conversely, in spite of, nevertheless, as opposed to. To show comparison, similarity, also likewise, similarly to, similarly, by the same token, just as, so too, the same is true of, indeed, in comparison, in addition, furthermore, moreover, not only, but also. Comparison, contrast paragraph. Comparison and contrast paragraph are sometimes used to explain a topic. More often, they are used to support the evaluation of two persons, place, things, or ideas. Descriptive writing. Description is used in many ways or forms in fiction, poetry, history, science, biography, and business. Its usage could be found a great deal in technical manuals, advertisements, sophisticated novels, formal speech, and also in casual conversation. Steps in descriptive writing. Writing description with careful observations, clear and vivid expressions can be accomplished if the writer chooses his words carefully. Expressive nouns and adjectives are a primary rule of this mode of writing. Once words are conquered, the writer will learn to organize this writing to maintain clarity of his description and lay his thoughts of the story effectively. Process writing, explaining how. Our daily lives are filled with processes that we are not fully aware of. From daybreak, we have already performed a few processes, namely cleaning up involves brushing our teeth. Next, we wash our face and then we bathe, and after that, we dress up to go to work. This is sometimes followed by another process, that is preparing breakfast, especially during the weekends. First, we boil water, then we make a cup of coffee, followed by preparing a simple sandwich or toasted bread. Even on television, we watch process, such as cooking demonstration, a painting demonstration, or a fix-it-yourself home kit. Types of process analysis writing. There are two types of process analysis writing, namely for the audience who is going to do the process. Audience who is not going to do the process. For the first type, the writing must include everything the reader needs to know before he can do it. For the second type, the writing does not include all the information needed to do the process. Cause and effect paragraphs. Cause focuses on the reason why actions, events, attitudes, and circumstances exist, while effects examines on what results from the occurrence. Argumentative essay. In writing an argumentative essay, you persuade a reader to concur with about a debate topic. Persuasive writing and argumentative writing are often used as equivalents to each other. An argumentative essay reveals and defends one's stand regarding the disputable topic. Support for that stand depends on evidence, reasons, and example, and chosen for their direct relation to the point being argued. One part of the argumentative essay might try to disprove another stand on the topic, but the central point of the essay is debating credibly for one point of view. So I think you got knowledge about writing in ESL, and I hope you enjoy the session, and thank you so much.